Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Propagandacast with me, Imperial Dane. Today we have for you another replay submission, this time from Gulcasa. Playing as the Panzer Elite Panzer Grenadiers 17th SS against Tornsouls 1st Infantry Division Bravo Company. And we have a new map, Wrecked Train, a rather open map, the center being only covered with some wrecked car trains, but not really for that much part, offering many obstacles and certainly allowing for some maneuverability. The western half of the map being somewhat densely urbanized with some structures here and one overlooking the victory point to the west. The eastern part, on the other hand, is quite clear, although it has a few more bottlenecks and some wood, but at the same time not really offering the same kind of protection as the western victory point. So let's get this started. Gulcasa starting out with the Schwimmwagen, type 128, one of the two Schwimmwagens in the game, the other one being for the Wehrmacht and equipped with a light machine gun. This one replaces the Kettenkrad and offers some different abilities depending on what doctrine you choose. And we have two Panzer Grenadier teams on the way, and in the north from Tornsouls we are seeing a barracks. A good solid start against the Panzer Elite, allowing for some maneuverability to fight back, as a weapon support center would quickly find itself surrounded, leaving the machine guns and heavy mortars not awfully useful. So Schwimmwagen quickly going for the eastern half, Panzer Grenadiers playing a bit safe and securing the local munitions point, while the second moves out as well, perhaps to seize territory as well. A bit unorthodox, as many Panzer Elite players prefer to send their Panzer Grenadiers out to harass enemy point seizure, something I personally do as well. Third Panzer Grenadier team on the way. No Gewehr 43 upgrades for any of his Panzer Grenadiers though. Schwimmwagen already securing this strategic point, which also gives access to this medium fuel point, as any other fuel points are in fact low, except for those at these points. Oh, that's also a low one. Never mind. Then again, there is a higher concentration of fuel points in the west, whereas there are more munitions points in the east, it seems. Panzer Grenadiers continuing to seize territory, certainly a bit unorthodox. Riflemen also seizing territory, and one should note that Panzer Grenadiers are slower than most other infantry when it comes to seize points, although an upgrade from the Kampfgruppe company can give increased capture rate plus allow them to spot mines. So keep that in mind. Riflemen moving out behind the engineers who are leading the way, offering a bit of reconnaissance so the riflemen can quickly engage whatever might open fire. Panzer Grenadiers to the left, no engagements as of yet, fuel point seized, but now the riflemen are threatening the strategic point, and Gulcasa sends his Panzer Grenadiers off to deal with that second rifleman team on their ground, moving out as well on the left. Panzer Grenadiers engaging engineers who are finding themselves quickly suppressed and will be forced to retreat very soon. Two down already, wounded, and the third Panzer Grenadier down, and the riflemen run away without even firing a single shot. So intimidated are they by the Panzer Grenadiers' presence. Engineer team finding himself under fire again, once more suppressed, and riflemen finding themselves now behind enemy lines, behind the 9 Panzer Grenadiers. Quite a dangerous situation, although Gulcasa should endeavor to seek cover with his Panzer Grenadiers, otherwise he won't find them. That's good, and shooting on the riflemen from where their cover does not provide any protection. So moving away from the rail cars, and Schwimmwagen trying to secure the munition point. 5th Panzer Grenadier team on the way, while the 4th is securing fuel route from the riflemen. First team back on the field. No, it's the third team, perhaps. Yes. Now surrounding the Panzer Grenadiers, although the riflemen are in a dangerous position since the Panzer Grenadiers are much more veteran than the riflemen. and can do much more damage. Although right now it does seem like Tornsouls is in a decent position, although he should be moving his riflemen down to support the two others, and is finally doing so, just as I mentioned it. Gulcasa possibly saving up to do something now with his Panzer Grenadiers. One team already forced into retreat under heavy fire because of the riflemen having heavy cover from that rail car. Third Panzer Elite team moving up towards the riflemen were now greatly cut down in number, retreating while a third moves up, and a fourth rifleman team is on the field. Gulcasa putting down a Kampfgruppe company. Riflemen doing heavy damage to the Panzer Grenadier teams as they move directly towards it, while the riflemen enjoy heavy cover, although now they are deeply outnumbered and forced to run the gauntlet through the Panzer Grenadiers with the risk of being annihilated, but avoiding any such casualties. Schwimmwagen taking heavy fire while it captures territory. Completely destroyed, the driver thrown out, and the riflemen taking cover behind the wrecked Schwimmwagen, while the riflemen around the Panzer Grenadiers are now being themselves greatly outnumbered, but 6 fresh Panzer Grenadiers moving in to support the last Panzer Grenadier team, although they are in great danger, caught out in the open, although now the riflemen are finding themselves in a perilous situation, as well once more forcing maneuvering into better cover. And riflemen suffering heavy casualties again as they are suffering heavy fire from all sides. BAR rifles going out, increasing the firepower and allowing them to suppress for 35 munitions. And let's see how Tornsouls is doing. Plenty of munitions. Riflemen suffering heavy losses though. Might consider suppressing them with some suppressing fire, although now further Panzer Grenadiers are moving out. And we see another building from Gulcasa, a Panzer Jäger command, the Kampfgruppe company not really being used for anything. Second rifleman team coming in to try and help the deeply wounded riflemen. And perhaps he should have reconsidered pulling all troops back and then moving one down in force and sending in his riflemen piecemeal. It's only to the advantage of Gulcasa's Panzer Grenadiers, who are in force. This way he loses a lot of men who will then have to be reinforced and then sent in piecemeal again, not really managing any heavy losses on the enemy. Riflemen down again, numerous wounded screaming in pain, abandoned by their comrades since no medics are nearby to assist. Gulcasa having most of the map and the fuel advantage, having the medium fuel point in the east. And now MP44s are going up for the Panzer Grenadiers in great numbers, in fact. Riflemen running right into the MP44s, something we really should avoid, as MP44s are quite dangerous, and the entire rifleman team is cut down by the assault rifle fire. Second rifleman team moving in, not seeking cover once more, running right into the MP44s, this time actually pulling back. Good move, and one should really try to endeavor not to run into assault rifles. Seeking cover in the structure, allowing for few men to fire through these two windows, although not. But BAR fire will prove effective, although the most effective way would be if the Panzer Grenadiers were here, in which case all these windows would be useful. And a armored car is on the field, moving around, scouting, and we can see that Tornsouls is quite at a disadvantage. Not a lot of fuel, only riflemen with BARs to rely on, and the enemy already has assault rifles and an armored car. Certainly in part thanks to Gulcasa's quite aggressive tactics, although at the same time could have easily been more aggressive in the beginning instead of seizing territory, but at the same time also has something to do with Tornsouls sending his rifleman teams in piecemeal instead of in larger squads of forces, to allow for effective firepower coordination with all those BARs and rifles, which certainly would have done a great deal more against the Panzer Grenadiers, and now suffering heavy fire from the armored car, forced to pull back. entirely sure what Tornsouls is going to do. He's continually suffering horrific losses to the Panzer Elite armored car and the Panzer Grenadiers, all equipped with some serious firepower for dealing with infantry. Supply yard going up, hoping perhaps to go for a motor pool, but currently he doesn't have much fuel to support that, and he doesn't really have the command points to go for a ranger squad either if he goes infantry, and he has gone for a doctrine, but what it is. And there we hear it, defensive operations. That means he's gone infantry, means his infantry can lay down some defenses, although at this point it's a bit too late, as laying down mines earlier could have been helpful, but sadly he did not, and he could have saved together some points to get the ranges that would have been helpful against the armored car, but not so. Now all he has to rely on are these riflemen with BARs, which can do some damage against the armored car, but it does require his riflemen to be in cover, otherwise they'll just be cut down in seconds. Riflemen opening fire, heavy light machine gun fire raining down upon the Panzer Grenadiers out in the open, seizing the point, getting a lot of hits but no casualties. Although one is down now and the other two are greatly wounded as further riflemen are moving in, putting the Panzer Grenadiers under pressure, forcing them to pull back, and now Tornsouls is losing the rest of the western half of the map. Now only one fuel point left, a low one, certainly not looking good for Tornsouls. Again trying to use this garrison building for cover. Panzer Elite armored car moving in, opening fire from the side where the stone wall provides no cover, keeping it well at range, a good move, thus preventing any nasty surprises in terms of sticky bombs or anything similar, and decreasing the possible accuracy against it. Riflemen laying down mines to prevent any entrance to the base, although I don't think Gulcasa is any interested in this, and this is generally a good move. You don't always want to rush your enemy's base, in particular with armored cars. Sometimes it's better to just bleed him dry outside while you hold the victory points. Armored cars suffering some damage from the BAR fire that is penetrating the light armor, although it's not heavy, and another rifleman team goes down to heavy auto cannon fire from the armored car. And let's see how Gulcasa is doing. 3 points for the company commander. I'm not sure which doctrine he's chosen. Group Seal being upgraded, and Panzer Grenadiers regrouping. Group Seal makes your infantry much tougher when they are grouped together, meaning for example these two will be much tougher than just one squad, and in general it also acts as a regular buff to your Panzer Grenadiers, as they do get a minor health boost all around. And this is in fact a quite regular tactic by the Panzer Elite, in fact, rushing for the assault rifles and the armored cars. So if you know that, you can usually prepare yourself against it somewhat. Personally, I prefer getting a weapon support center and some heavy machine guns to deal with this. Grenades going, incendiary grenades going in, burning out the riflemen, not getting out for some reason, suffering heavy losses to the fire on the building. Clearly is not safe. Another BAR grabbed, and these riflemen holding out in the building, firing back, although not doing much damage. Panzer Elite armored car moving in, opening fire as well. The riflemen are captured, deeply wounded, and are not likely to survive this. Already one down, another, and third, and probably the fourth now. Yes, the building turned into an